Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to This Month in Monster Taming, the segment on our channel where we go over major upcoming developments in the monster taming genre for any given month, this time for the month of July. We've got some pretty spicy content coming this month, including the release of Digimon Survive, the early access release of a newcomer to the genre that I've briefly discussed on this channel, an upcoming Kickstarter for an SMT-like game that I'm sure you've heard of before, and more. So with all that being said, make sure to sit back, relax, and let's dive right in. Alright, so we're going to start things off with a couple major releases that have recently launched. While this stuff is technically from June, we haven't done a This Month in Monster Taming segment for a while, so I did want to include these because they're both fresh out of the oven, and people are definitely talking about them. First up is the free Monster Sanctuary Forgotten World DLC, which just launched on June 30th, and includes both some post-game content adding 10 new monsters to the game, an area to explore, new champion battles, and even added some randomization and customization options for a regular playthrough as well. Either way, I explored both of these in an early build of the DLC where I streamed it with the devs, and more recently I have put out a Let's Play of the entire DLC area, which you can check out in my Monster Sanctuary Let's Play playlist, which will be linked below. As of the time this video is going live, I actually do have one more bonus episode coming out later today at 1 p.m. EST, so you can stay tuned for that as well. Another update that I really haven't had a chance to sink my teeth into yet, but I do plan on streaming soon, is the recent Abomi update, which acts as a crossover with another game called Bug Fables from the same publisher. The game also got confirmed for consoles, which is pretty hype, but as far as this update is concerned, it's live, it adds new monsters and new fun stuff to the game, and I really want to check it out, and think you should too. Okay, so now let's talk about stuff that's happening this month that has not happened just yet. Coming up in a couple days as of the time this video is going live, so July 8th, we have the Pizzamon Kickstarter, which if you don't know, Pizzamon is essentially a monster taming game where you play as various pizza toppings, and I don't know, I think it's pretty funny. Despite the rather memey premise, the game does promise to have a fun story where you must battle through the chef championships in order to be the best. I will do a Kickstarter breakdown video when the Kickstarter goes live, and I have covered this game in one of our Monster Taming Games You Never Knew segments, so definitely feel free to check that out as well. Again, linked below. On July 11th, we're going to see the early access release of a brand new game called Pixels Digital Creatures, a monster taming roguelike with a focus on replayability as you traverse the game's hexagonal map and build your own unique team. I'm going to play the trailer here for you guys because I want to hype it up a little. A monster taming game that you may have heard of if you've been following my channel for a little while is Eternal Exodus, a Shin Megami Tensei-like game that had its own Kickstarter a few months ago that unfortunately was not successful. Since then, the developer has been preparing for a new Kickstarter, adding improved pledge goals, and we do have a major trailer that's supposed to be dropping on the same day as well. I know when it comes to monster taming games, the games that are more popular tend to be the ones more similar to Pokemon, which makes sense because Pokemon's a bigger medium than, let's say, Shin Megami Tensei, and thus has more fans, which in turn will trickle down into Pokemon-like games. But I do think a lot of people are sleeping on the Shin Megami Tensei franchise and the games that aspire to be like it. Now, I'm definitely no expert in the franchise. I've only really beaten Shin Megami Tensei 5 and played a bit of SMT3, but I definitely think that people should try the Eternal Exodus demo and make their own judgments accordingly. I see a lot of people in the genre that say that they don't want more games that are like Pokemon and want something different. So for those of you guys who I always see complaining about games like Nexomon, Coromon, etc., I do hope that you'll consider supporting supporting this game. Beasties, a match 3 monster taming puzzle RPG that I have covered in the past on this channel, will be launching on Steam on July 27th. Now, if you didn't know, this game actually already launched on the Switch, which, as far as we've seen in the genre, is actually pretty unique for indie studios. Usually we see a Steam launch and then a console launch afterward, or some sort of simultaneous release, but this time we got the vice versa. Either way, if you're a fan of puzzle games like Candy Crush or Bejeweled and monster taming games, you'll definitely want to check this out. I'm not even someone who's into those puzzle games, but I found that the way they integrated them into the monster battle actually works really well and makes me want to play it and find these puzzles enjoyable where I probably otherwise wouldn't. I do plan on putting out a review around the time of the Steam launch, so stay tuned for that. On the next day, that being July 28th, we do have what probably will be for many the major highlight of the month, that being the launch of Digimon Survive, the long-awaited tactical RPG set in the digital world. I'm particularly excited for this, not because I'm a big fan of tactical RPGs, but because I'm looking forward to finally delving back into the Digimon franchise after around 20 years of being a fan of it when I was a kid and sort of having a drop off and a large gap between that. I'm looking forward to learning about new Digimon that I didn't know existed, ones that I forgot that existed, and also sucking at tactical RPGs because I've never even played one. All that said, despite this, I do plan on putting out news updates, breakdowns, guides, etc. when I get more knowledgeable, both leading up to and post-launch, so definitely make sure to keep an eye out. Okay, finally, we have some stuff that's coming this month, but we don't have exact dates, and we'll also discuss a little bit from Q3 and some spillage from Q2. First of all, we're going to be receiving a new Chain Monsters demo that will include some improvements such as a day-night cycle, better UI, new controls for battle, and more. A new Drugimon update is planned for the current alpha. This is going to be a major wave that'll include stronger 2-stage druggies, more trainers to face off against, new attacks, and more. We are in Q3 of the year, which means third quarter, which consists of July, August, and September, which means any games that have updates planned for Q3 can potentially happen this month. The first that comes to mind is the major Sky Climbers update that is supposed to bring forth new robust cities and new Sentius, so something to look forward to for sure. And finally, last but not least, we have our final piece of information to talk about, that being spillage from the second quarter, and that being the Evo Creo 2 beta that was supposed to launch during the second quarter of the year, aka spring, but did not. Evo Creo, for those that don't know, is a mobile-only title, but is in the same vein as something like Coromon or Nexomon, and it was actually one of the earlier games in what we consider the modern monster taming era that released around the same time as the original Nexomon back before the big monster taming boom. Personally, I have not played the original, but do plan on doing so leading up to the launch of the sequel. That way we can sort of start one Let's Play and then have it end right when the new game comes out and sort of, I don't know, just kind of hype it up a little bit and have fun. But the thing about the sequel is that was originally planned to release in 2020, but then was pushed back twice, and now is supposed to be coming by the end of the year with a beta rolling out in Q2. But interestingly, we have not received any gameplay footage of the new game. I went looking and I couldn't find any screenshots, clips, or anything to do with Evo Creo 2, but I also do understand that there are some developers that like to keep everything very secretive until release, and as long as they're not running like a Kickstarter or taking crowdfunding money, I don't see any issue with them wanting to keep it secret, because at the end of the day, it's their decision. My guess is that the pandemic caused some sort of major delays, but all I can do is speculate because their social media has been extremely quiet, and even their Discord server is only updated when the original game is on sale or is free or something like that, or just to tell us that the sequel has been delayed. I did try to see if anybody knew what was going on with the beta or just what was going on with Evo Creo 2 in general, and from what I can tell, nobody really knows. But as soon as we do get some sort of information regarding it, I will keep you guys updated. So if you don't have that little bell clicked after you subscribed, definitely do, because you'll get notified when that video comes out. But yeah, all in all, a pretty exciting month. I am a little disappointed that we haven't really received any Evo Creo 2 news, but I'm really looking forward to the launch of Digimon Survive. I'm looking forward to checking out Pixels for the first time, and I'm hoping to see both Pizzamon and Eternal Exodus get funded, so fingers crossed. On that note, if you guys are fans of monster taming, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 40K this year, and I think that's extremely doable. You can also check out my Twitter channel and my Patreon, where you can donate for some extra perks. Special thanks to my patrons, especially Jim Hamilton, Steel Case, Dark Persona, and Dro Ghost, and with that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.